Welcome to episode 5 of Hair Biz Radio. You are joining myself, Zakiyrah, and
Mikey.
And we're super excited to be back with you guys for another episode. We've had like an amazing week this week.
This week's been pretty baller.
Baller. I can imagine like Mikey just standing here like doing the whole Jim Jones balling.
Pretty much.
Yeah, but it's been an amazing week. We've been hitting record-breaking sales. Like, we're celebrating.
We hit for last month, October 2017, we absolutely crushed our record sales.
Crushed it, and we're going up from there.
There's what we're doing, you know, the consultants we hire and everything else, there's nowhere to go but up. But it was a battle just to get where we are.
Definitely.
And that's one thing about entrepreneurship that I always talk about, and kind of like this podcast. You know, when we launched our first episode and a couple episodes, we're on episode 5 now, we had 0 subscribers, just like your hair business has 0 customers when it launches. How many Instagram? I don't even know. We have an Instagram page. I think I lost the password. I got to get the password. But, like, I don't even know if I have the password. We might have 1 subscriber, and it's probably my mom because I took her phone and subscribed to it. So that's just part of starting any business. So we're treating this podcast like a business. And I honestly, you know, we're starting to get, we have, you know, a couple hundred downloads per episode at this point. But I really don't expect to see any growth for probably 6 months.
As with any business.
As with any business. Even if you're putting money in, you know, what's fortunate for us is we've been through launching a bunch of businesses between this and some of the other platforms. So it's a lot easier this time, I would say. Kind of the stuff we've done before that works. We can do it for the podcast to make it grow faster. But ultimately, it's just going to take time.
Time. And more time.
Yeah. But when you have the knowledge, which is part of this podcast and what we want to do is help train people of how to be successful in business.
It makes it easy to replicate.
Makes it so much easier to replicate.
Yep. No matter what it is that you're launching, if you take the same principles that you learned in the beginning, all the failures, all of the knowledge, and you bulk that into one thing, it's so easy to just duplicate into another business and duplicate into another business. That's how we were so successful with launching over 1,000 hair brands. You know, we created the wheel and used that same process and format to build everyone else's. Exactly.
And I'd like to talk a little bit about products because, you know, people look at me and they're like, wait, this guy weave, are you serious? No, I'm dead serious, and I am
serious.
I am crazy. And my new wig line that we're doing for everybody is amazing.
How, like, what's the density on those wigs?
They say it's about 180%, which is thick, 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 thick. So if you can just imagine those wigs, you're going to run your fingers through all that hair. I mean, those things are heavy. You're going to have to start doing neck exercises at the gym because those wigs are so thick.
Oh, my God.
But they're so beautiful. That kinky straight wig, oh, my God. Like, all the girls in the office are freaking out over it. I can't get it on the site fast enough. You know, we interviewed Dallas earlier this week, so make sure you listen to that interview with Dallas Chris where he came in and I showed him some of the real tight coil kinky wigs. And he was going crazy.
Bananas.
And he was real excited because he's like, what's the longest length? And when I told him 32 inches, he almost died.
He almost fell out.
I mean, this long hair trend it's not going anywhere.
Nicki Minaj definitely put everybody on the map. Well, she brought back, you know, from a long time ago when people used to rock the long pasha booty hair. And so now it's just becoming a trend again, and everybody's loving it.
We actually had a comment because I had posted about the Vietnamese 40-inch hair that we have, and someone's like, how's it selling? And I'm like, sold out, right? I mean, I have some more coming in. So 40-inch Vietnamese hair, and, you know, real quick about the Vietnamese hair, what I love about it is, you know, when you grab that bundle and it's so thick, if you're going to have those long strands of hair, it's really important to have thick hair. Otherwise, it's just going to start breaking off and falling out, getting caught on everything else. All that. So I think I have 46-inch coming. So that, you know, the 40 was so October or November. let's get those 46s.
People are going to be tripping over their hair.
40s. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Basically, we work with a factory in Vietnam, and they'll make anything we want. And I basically told him, go around the country and find the girls with the longest hair and get it for us. And I'm dead serious. Like, we just, keep going serious. Longer, more extreme. And not only that, I just can't wait. You're going to see me on Instagram, Private Label Extensions. And you're going to see me with those 40-inch blonde bundles, and I'm just going to be shaking
Oh,
them.
yeah. People are going to love those. I don't know if you guys have seen recently, Nicki Minaj had her 40 inches that she normally wears, but she had it in blonde, and people went so crazy over it. It was, like, so beautiful. So we're going to bring that to you guys soon.
Yeah, I think, probably in like a week or two.
Yeah.
Maybe even by the time this podcast comes out, it might be available on our site. Just check our social media, and you'll probably see and you'll probably see one of us whipping the hair around. Speaking of blonde hair, I used to actually have a lot of blonde hair. I don't know what's happened to it. I think the stress from all this business over the years, I've kind of lost some of it.
Mikey has like this spiky thing going on.
I know. It's just like, I don't know what happens when you start getting older with this hair. But, I used to have, actually, when I was probably about 18, 19, I used to have much longer on the top.
Really?
On the sides. I've got to show you this photo.
Gosh. Yeah. I will die laughing when I see that.
Pretty much. So, I used to have blonde hair, so I do appreciate blonde hair. I still have a little bit left. It's a little struggling. I think I need to get some biotin or something like that.
Oh, yeah, biotin.
Yeah, I know everyone talks about it. I don't know if it really works, but whatever.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and jump into this week's episode. We're going to be talking to you guys about consumer fraud, which is heavily a major issue in the hair industry.
And then we're also going to talk about a giveaway for you, which is going to be a 1-year membership to our dropship service, which is at Dropship Bundles. So it's not only that we pack and ship the orders for you, so basically you don't have to hold any inventory, because probably one of the biggest complaints about getting in the hair industry is I don't have the funds to buy all the inventory.
Right.
So it not only includes you instant access to our drop shipping service, where we'll pack and ship the orders under your name, we'll help brand it for you and everything else, but it gives you marketing materials, it gives you stock photos that you can use of the hair bundles, marketing images. We actually have videos, which nobody's doing that. I mean, I know HD was shooting for a couple weeks making all these professional-looking videos, product videos, so people can download those. They can put it on social media, on their websites, everything else. But we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the episode.
Yeah, so make sure you guys listen to the very end of the podcast, because we'll be giving you steps on how you can win that.
And if you skip ahead and don't listen to what I'm about to say about this consumer fraud in the hair industry, I'm telling you, you do not want to miss this, because you guys know. I mean, if you're in the office, you know how absolutely passionate and crazy I am about the hair industry.
Right.
Right? And I always say, what is the worst part of the industry? You're going to get some bundles, and sometimes it might tangle or something. I don't know. Kinky curly hair might shed sometimes. Yeah, no kidding. Not often, but stuff comes up.
It's natural hair.
Yes, yeah. You did a quick weave and it sheds. Well, don't cut the damn wefts. Okay, I get it. But nothing pisses me off more than the fraudsters that are so prevalent here in the hair industry.
Oh, it's so annoying. It's so annoying. Like, the scammers, and the crazy thing is a lot of times they get away with it.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Because I think what happens is, I think a lot of other small business owners in the hair industry, they don't put a lot of the policies and procedures that we put in place.
Right.
I mean, the amount of chargebacks and issues we have.
They have cut down.
It's cut down dramatically, because we are so diligent about following our policies and procedures, and we always figure out the new way that they're going through and trying to scam people, right? So let's talk about that.
Let's talk about it. So there may be times where you may have, like, orders come through and, people purchase your hair and everything will seem like it's going smooth, and then boom, maybe a week or so later you get hit with a chargeback on PayPal. And now you're freaking out because you owe PayPal over $1,000 in hair that, you actually had a customer pay for. So we're going to walk you through how to deal with that, how to prevent it from happening more than it's happening now, and then some tips and tricks on what you can do to implement that into your website, your business, or whatever that may be.
Yeah, so I'll go over exactly what Private Label Extensions does, and I highly suggest, unless you like losing money, I highly suggest you implement the same steps. So for online orders, first of all, we do not allow in-store pickup. So if you try to order on our website and say, oh, I'm going to pick that up, no.
Not happening.
You can come in with your ID and credit card, but it's not happening. You're not ordering and coming and picking up, because as soon as someone does that, there's a good chance, not always, but you're opening up the floodgates for chargebacks and scammers. So we do not allow online orders with in-store pickup, first off. When you go to our website and you go to the checkout, you'll notice that there's only billing and shipping in one column, right? So it's not like, oh, this is my billing address, here's my shipping address. Huge no-no for the hair industry. There's someone with a stolen credit card will put,
John Doe
in there with his credit card and billing address, and then ship it to, they won't ship it to their home address. They'll find a house that is for rent or for sale, or if they're in an apartment complex, they know the apartment next door is empty, and they'll have it shipped to that right next door where they have easy access, and every day they go and scoop up all these fraudulent charged orders, and it's very difficult to catch them.
Yeah.
So we make sure that the default is the billing and shipping have to be the same. So what happens is if they want to ship it to a different address, they have to do it through PayPal. And PayPal actually has gotten a lot better because they know how much fraud is in the, not just for hair, but just online shopping.
All over, yeah.
So if you want to ship it to a different address, you have to check out with PayPal, and you have to have your address as a PayPal confirmed address within the customer's account. So when we get the receipt from PayPal, it says, it's in green, it says seller protected. And what that does is if we ship it and we provide the tracking, which we obviously always ship the order.
Right.
We got people that literally pack orders all day. We, the seller, and you, the seller, as the business owner, will be protected. But if they were a fraudster, they're not going to log in. They're generally not going to have access to somebody else's PayPal account.
Right.
So they have to go in and verify it. And then same thing, if someone moves, they have to make sure that they call the credit card company and says, hey, I moved. Here's my new address. That way the order can be shipped to that address.
Yeah, so along with that, some other things that we do is when you do get a chargeback on PayPal, you have to make sure you're very attentive to dealing with it when it happens. You can't wait, like, if you have somebody do a chargeback and you decide to wait a week to, refund them if you feel like it is a chargeback, then it just makes it worse on your end. So when you do get a chargeback in PayPal, make sure you're very attentive to providing them with the information that they need so that you can try to at least acknowledge it and then win the case in PayPal. So it would look something like somebody does a chargeback and, you get the notification from PayPal. What you would want to do is if you have all the documentation that, hey, we shipped it out, you have the tracking information, if you have their correct billing and shipping information, like, hey, we did a verification with us. What we do is if your order is over $300 or if it's over $300
or just looks fraudulent,
if it just looks fraudulent or anything, we send
new customer,
new customer, order. Anything like that. We send email verifications. And so what that looks like is you need to send a copy of your credit card and a copy of your driver's license that matches. That was the card that you used when you made the purchase. And then once that's verified, then we ship the order. So if they were to if they happen to do a chargeback, you have all of this documentation that, hey, they placed this order. We had the card, we had the driver's license, we shipped it out, it says delivered, and then you're more likely to win that chargeback case in PayPal.
And just to make sure, just clarify, we don't actually tell them to send the whole photo of the whole card.
Right.
We tell them you block all the numbers except for the last four because our systems are PCI compliant, so we can actually only see the last four digits of the credit card. So you block all the other numbers, and it has to say the name, and the name has to match the driver's license, and everything has to match. So that way, there's no way that we can do anything with their name, a picture of their name, and the last four digits. And actually what I think I'll do is if you go to hairbizradio.com and look in the show notes for episode 5, I will put the exact verbiage in the photo we use that shows an example because,
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, during our verification process, we send this. So I can tell you what's happened. Credit card processors are really pissed at people in the hair extension industry because it makes them look bad when all these chargebacks start coming through all the banks and everything else. So we're lucky that PayPal still processes credit card transactions, Authorize.net, I think Square, which is at SquareUp.com.
Yeah, Square does.
But someone like Stripe, and we talked about it before, Shopify, they're not going to process.
They are not fooling with the hair industry.
No, they're done with us,
yeah.
right? So the scary thing is, what if more people are done with us and there's no way to process credit card transactions for hair? I mean, it's like the weed industry right now. Like, that's one of the big things. It's so cash-based because no one's processing credit card transactions for it. Well, maybe they are now. They came out with some new bank or something. But previously, that was one of the big issues. So if all us business owners work together to help reduce the chances of fraud, maybe we can get out of that because we're already in a high-risk category.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe we'll be able to lower that. And, in the show notes, we can talk in real detail so you know exactly what to do in our policies and procedures. Really, the number through, like I've talked to PayPal many, many times, because if I get a chargeback, I will call them. I'm freaking out because, if it's something fraudulent, I will do everything in our power to find this person. I will take them to court. I don't care how much it costs. If it's $10,000 in legal fees,
No, I know.
I do not play when it comes to these chargebacks. Like,
not at all.
I will find you. You will go down. That's it, because it ruins not just our business, but everybody else that's in the industry.
It's almost like that guy on you ever seen Taken?
Yeah.
Where they take his daughter and, like, he's on there. And it's like, if you let her go, everything will be fine. But if not, I'm going to find you.
Pretty much that's how I treat it. Like, you have to be a little bit crazy sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. You have to be aggressive in the hair industry.
Yeah, so that's one thing that I'm really serious about. But the magic number is 1%. If you get over 1%, so if you have 100 orders and you get 2 chargebacks in those 100 orders, PayPal will lock your account or Authorize. They will lock your account. They'll start holding 50% of your funds and everything else, and it's very difficult to run a business when the credit card processor is trying to hold all your money because you need the money to buy more inventory.
Right.
So that's really, really important. So I want everybody that's listening to this that's in the hair industry to take this very, very serious, because if we all work together, then I think we can help lower
consumer fraud,
high risk, the consumer fraud and everything else. And when you order from us in the beginning, you're like, oh my God, these guys are pretty strict about their orders and the process. But we have to be. Like, it's just business. And people are like, well, just cancel my order.
We're like, okay.
Bye. Like, we're good. Like, how many orders we get? I mean, but that's the thing. That's why a lot of times they'll target the small companies that they know are not getting a lot of orders. They might only get 2, 5, 10 orders a day. So for them to lose one order, it's like this dramatic experience. And they're like, oh, my God, I'm going to lose all this money. Trust me, you're going to lose a whole lot more money if you let someone trick you and they get you into that position where you really need the sale. You do not.
Yeah, and they're bold. They're really bold. Like, if they try it one time and it works, they're going to go for you a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth, and just keep doing it. Like,
and another thing to look out for is fraudsters will always get express shipping because they want to have it shipped out as fast as possible so you lose control of the hair.
Oh, yeah.
And take a look at the names. Like, a lot of times, if it's like, let's just be real. There's some names that sometimes that you're like, this doesn't seem like a person that's going to be ordering 8 bundles of 22s, 24, 26, 28, like really random. Take that into consideration and maybe look them up. One thing, actually, I haven't really promoted this much, and I kind of have it there just for when I get pissed off. I think Zakiyrah knows what's coming. So, like, last year I was in Asia traveling around, and we got a chargeback, and I, couldn't do anything at the time about it, and I was so pissed. So I created this domain name and website called Consumer Fraud Agency, which is at consumerfraudagency.com. It actually already has a high domain authority, which means that if you post on there, it'll probably show up in search. I think at this point, if someone tries to scam us or do anything, And if you're listening to this, you can create a free account on there. It's 100% free. Mm-hmm. You can list the address of like, hey, I got scammed. This is the address it was sent to. And write about it. You can use the emails, the phone numbers, because a lot of people use the same email but with all these different hair companies. So you can put the email. So if we got an email and I was like, I don't know if this order seems real, you can copy the email, paste it in Google search. It would probably show up. The result would show up on Consumer Fraud Agency. I think we should start doing that, Zakiyrah. Like I built the site. The site's legit. Looks good. Like
it will help a lot.
Yeah. So as a team effort for all the hair business owners, and I'm not trying to make any money from this. Yeah. I just want everyone to work together. Like whether you buy hair from us wholesale or not, I do not care. Like I think if all of us come together to fight the fraud that's in the hair industry, I think it could just be great for everyone.
Oh, yeah. The other thing is if you're selling retail and you notice that people are buying like multiple bundles at retail price, that's another red flag. Like if you have someone purchasing several bundle deals at retail, you know, you may want to get the order verified or check on it, because 9 times out of 10, if they're purchasing that much in retail, they could, you know, go to a wholesale company and purchase wholesale. So that's also something that you want to look for, and they'll normally go for the higher bundles because they cost more money.
Yeah, the longer lengths. Definitely, and then that's so true. Actually, I have noticed that you know, because we have some test sites that we run that we do retail with, and always the time that people try to scam, they try to order like 4 or 5 bundle deals, and I'm like,
that doesn't sound right.
This doesn't really sound right. Not use a coupon and other stuff like you know, there's coupons on the site. You know, what they're trying to do, they're trying to buy into you, the business owner, really wanting this order because it looks so good. And you're like, oh, my God, I'm going to make all this money. So they buy into that, like, passion that you have, and then they scam you.
Just like Joanne the scammer.
It is. I mean, it's just, it really pisses me off, to be honest with you. I mean, you know, not just us, our team, we all work so hard. Right, we're in here day in, day out. I'm answering messages, everything from 6 in the morning till 10 at night, you know. And then these scammers that if they put their effort, like some of them are so good, if they put that effort into doing something legit, they could probably just be real successful and be legit and not have to one day worry about, you know, the cops coming after them or something happening.
Yeah,
it's just so annoying. So I think if everyone listening to this, if we can all work together, make sure you go to the show notes. I'm going to write out something real detailed. Feel free to sign up at Consumer Fraud Agency and start blasting people or putting in the fraudulent emails and other stuff people are using. Feel free to do so. 100% free. Awesome. Zakiyrah, let's talk about this giveaway because I know everyone's going to try to search the end.
Yeah.
I bet you they're going to try to.
They're itching for it.
They're itching for it. So about the giveaway, 1-year subscription dropship bundles. Real simple. All you have to do is whatever platform you're listening to this podcast on, just leave a review, an honest review, cool, and then go to episode 5 to the show notes. You can find that at hairbizradio.com. And then in the comments below, just let us know what type of information you would like us to talk about on the podcast and what you would like to learn. And then I would say 2 weeks after this is published, so I'm not sure the exact date that this is going to be published, but 2 weeks after the actual date of publishing, we're going to choose someone. We'll reach out to you via email because when you leave a comment, you have to put in your email. And we are going to give you a 1-year membership for free to dropshipbundles.com.
Oh, yeah, and you're going to love it. If you're already in the hair industry and you've been buying wholesale, bulk, you know, spending money on inventory, this is going to be something great for you because it's kind of like wholesale pay as you go. And if you've been wanting to start a hair business and you just didn't know where to start or you didn't have the funds to do so, this is definitely going to help you. So make sure you guys leave your comments on what you want us to talk about next, and then also rate and review.
And subscribe.
And make sure you subscribe. We have some great episodes coming in the near future talking about everything hair industry. We have some great featured guests that we're going to have on here. They're going to help you with business-related things, hair knowledge, just a bunch of stuff related to hair.
Yeah, we love hair. And then also, we have our little studio at our current location. We start the build-out, I believe, meeting with contractors next week.
That's exciting.
Oh, my God. It's a whole other thing on the plate, but we have a new 4,000 square foot facility that's going to have the showroom in the bottom and then multiple floors of offices, and we're going to have our video studio, but then also be able to bring special guests in for podcasts. So hopefully right now we're just recording the audio version of this, but we're looking to do the video version of this, which is going to be super cool. And then also you have to look at some of the other things we do with this podcast and kind of learn from it and how we are going to repurpose some of the content. So we use the show notes, and that's great for the blog on hairbizradio.com. You know, I just wrote an article about it that you can see on privatelabelextensions.com. Now that we have a couple episodes up for people, we start promoting it in our newsletter so we can start cross-promoting it. You'll probably see a few advertisements on Facebook.
Everywhere.
I mean, basically, you can take the content. You're going to see smaller sound clips on Instagram. So when you go ahead and spend all the time, and, you know, we spend a decent amount of money on this equipment, you know, you have to get the most out of it, and that's called repurposing content. So that's something that you should definitely look into if you're creating YouTube videos or other things about how you can repurpose the content.
Great tip.
And get the most out of your time and money, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's so important, especially when you're starting off small, because, you know, we deal with so many people that they just don't have the budget to do a lot of stuff. But you kind of have to start somewhere, building your email list. I talk about it all the time. I was just telling someone actually earlier today, she's one of our clients. She's so happy. She just got all this hair in, and she's doing a show. She's in Charlotte. And she posted in the Start a Hair Extension Business Facebook group that we have. You can check that on Facebook, free group about the hair business. And she posted a awesome photo of her wearing the hair. She's super amped. And I actually sent her a quick Facebook message like, hey, the hair looks great. Excited for your event. Do you have a newsletter list for all these people you meet to put their email on your list? And she's like, nope.
Yeah, email is definitely a big thing. Like if Instagram and Facebook were to shut down tomorrow, would you still have the clientele that you have now? And
I'm going to get to that in a second, actually. So I told her to sign up for MailChimp. The first 2,000 subscribers are 100% free.
Free.
MailChimp's an awesome company. It's actually based here in Atlanta. Their office is at Ponce City Market over on North Avenue in Ponce. Great company. Not only that, is MailChimp has an app that you can download on Android or, you know, through the iTunes store.
The iTunes store.
I've never had an iPhone, but I'm actually getting the iPhone 10 today. So someone's in line getting it for me. So I hope I like the iPhone. After 10 years or whatever it is, I finally am getting my first iPhone. I know that's really strange for a technology person, but that's okay. But you can get the app, and actually the MailChimp app is really nice because once you sign in, then you can get their email address and automatically subscribe them to your newsletter on the go.
Yeah.
And it's just really nice to have that because if you have to copy your newsletter like in a notepad file and then add it later, you know that thing's going to get lost.
It's so much. It's a headache.
It's just too much. But you mentioned, Zakiyrah brought up something really important about what happens if, you know, Facebook and Instagram, if you didn't have the following, what would you do next? You will see in 2018 there's already reports that all the Facebook pages and all the people that create all this content and everything else, they're not going to be showing, like, unless it's paid advertising or a boosted post, it's going to be like most people are like, oh, my posts never show up in the news feed. It's about to get a lot worse.
Mm.
Facebook has already confirmed. They're already testing it because they want to keep the news feed more personal.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it's Facebook's platform, right? But this is what you have to remember because I was actually just talking to one of my friends the other day about this who has a very large Instagram following and she gets a lot of her sales just from Instagram, is you got to remember Facebook owns
Instagram. Yep.
Instagram. So what they're doing on Facebook, I'm telling you, probably it might not be in 2018, but in 2019, if you have like this huge following and you're a business, Instagram
the algorithm
and Facebook,
is going to change
you're about to get crushed. So I mean, it's cool to have all these followers, and yeah, you can market to all the followers, but it's going to be pay to play.
Yeah,
100%. Like Facebook, everyone's got to remember Facebook's a business owned by Instagram. They're here, you know, it's a public company. The public companies are all about stock prices and profits.
Yep.
Okay? So you have to start thinking now what you're going to do to show up without having to pay a lot of money. So start writing blog posts. We're huge on that. We have a whole writing team. You can start now because it's going to take a while to show up into search and other ways that you're going to be able to get in touch with people. Now, email, obviously, some people are not as big on it, but I'm telling you, an email list prints money. When we send out an email list, I have to warn the whole staff.
The whole team.
I'm like, guys, okay, email's going out, this, that, the other, and our email list goes up about almost 1,000 people a week. So it's getting pretty dramatic when I send out the email list because that site, the traffic just spikes, the phone calls, the emails, the orders, the everything. I mean, it just gets, it's like
crazy.
It's crazy, right?
Oh, yeah.
But you're not going to get a big email list unless you start now.
Yeah, it takes time to grow. It takes time. We didn't start off with 30,000 emails.
I mean, same with our Instagram's growing like crazy now. And I think Instagram's one of the things once you have a lot of followers, and we don't have a ton. We're probably getting close to 15,000 now. We don't have a ton, but once you have a good amount, it seems like people follow you more just because you have a lot of followers.
Yeah, it's like crazy.
It's just kind of one of those
There's
things.
Like the secret sauce that Mikey uses. I don't know what it is, though.
Instagram growth. I'm telling you, go ahead and follow Private Label Extensions Instagram. You will see that thing grow consistently, solid. Me and HD, we got our Instagram techniques. This thing is growing like crazy.
I think we should do an Instagram tutorial, or maybe we'll do that in an online course.
Yeah, we got our online courses coming out. That's going to be out soon. Also, I want for the podcast. So I always look at the podcast, and I like to listen to the episodes and everything. So the real professional podcast, which is where we're trying to get, I think we're pretty close. Like the quality's good.
Oh, yeah.
Is we got to get the intro. So I'm working on the intro.
Oh,
so hopefully in one of these future episodes, you're going to be like, Mikey and Zakiyrah's podcast made it when you hear that intro. So we're trying to get this intro together. We're working with a great company. So how we actually do the podcast is we go in, we have HD. She's our full-time video and photography personnel. I don't know what to call her. HD, what? She's personnel, something. She's in charge of all the photo and video, okay? So as soon as we record this, she actually takes that file and uploads it to, I think it's called Podcasting Press, and I think it's podcastingpress.io or podcastingpress.com. Very affordable if you have a podcast and you really want to, step it up. And this is not like a paid endorsement.
Yeah,
but, we like to talk about companies that we work with that offer great service for a great price. Hopefully, like people are talking about private label extensions, but so, I don't mind mentioning them. That's how we get our podcast edited. So we'll send them the file to clean it up. If there's any breaks in the conversation, we maybe had one or two in this whole recording. They'll cut that out, make sure the levels are good, no background noise. And it's super cheap. Like, don't waste your time doing this stuff if you have a podcast. It makes no sense.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So just before we go, we want to remind you guys, make sure you sign up for the giveaway. We're excited about that. We're going to be choosing a winner in 2 weeks. Yeah, so some lucky winner will definitely win a year subscription to our dropship program. And then make sure you guys subscribe.
Yes. Thank you so much for listening. We have a lot of great content, a lot of great guests. Also, if you want to mention some of the guests or you have somebody that you think would be a good fit, make sure you get them in contact with us on the hairbizradio.com. If you hit the contact page tab, it has our email. I believe it's contact@hairbizradio.com, something real simple. And get them in touch with us. We would love to have them as an interview. If they're not here in Atlanta, we can do a Skype interview. I mean, I can't do it today because I haven't figured out the mixing board and all that stuff. But in like a week, I'm going to have this thing figured out. It's going to be great. And, we would love to have all types of guests on the podcast.
Yeah, so thank you for tuning in with us to episode 5, where we talked about consumer fraud. Next week, we will be bringing you a featured guest. So stay tuned.
And remember those wigs, thick. I got to go.